Good morning, our special guest, faculty and executive, students, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this hybrid seminar, 50th anniversary of PADA Thailand and panel discussion on risks, threats, and opportunities facing towards travel and tourism. My name is Miu Mama, or you can call me Morris, a first-year student majoring in International Tourism and Hospitality Management, Bangkok University International. Also, a member of Bangkok University PADA Thailand student chapter.
My name is Aung Zewin, and you can call me Ben Seal, a first-year student majoring in International Tourism and Hospitality Management, as well as PADA student chapter member. It is such a great honor for us to be the MC for this hybrid event. So, Maurice, can you please introduce our fellow audience about what we are going to go through today?
Sure, so once again, today we are going to start off by introducing our special guest. Next, we will be the welcome remarks, followed by the presentations by our guest on risks, threats, and opportunities facing towards travel and tourism. We will then move on to the panel discussion and finalizing by delivering the token of appreciation. Aren't you all excited?
Without further ado, let's introduce our special guest, shall we?
Yep.
Everyone, please give a round of applause to Kun Supawan Tirara, Senior Vice President at Thailand Conventions and Exhibition Bureau Advisor to PATA Thailand Chapter.
Next, please welcome Kun Ben Montgomery, Corporate Ambassador, Centara Hotels and Resort, Chairperson, PADA Thailand Chapter.
Everybody, please welcome Kun Chirudip Chakraborty, Regional Director of Sales Minor Hotels Excom Marketing and PR, PATA Thailand Chapter.
Please give a big hand to Kun MTS Mukbil, PADA and Tourism Historian, Founder and Editor-in-Chief of Travel Impact Newswire.
Let's warmly welcome to Kun Niwuri Kai, Vice President of Bangkok University, PATA Student Chapter.
Last but not least, let's welcome to Kun Ashwarya Singh Raikwa, Assistant Manager G20 Cell, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India via Zoom. But first, let's welcome Assistant Professor Dr. Duangthida Nangthapirat, Dean of Bangkok University International, to give a welcome remark.
Hello, good morning. On behalf of Bangkok University International, it's my great honor to welcome all the distinguished guests, including the PATA Thailand Executive Committee, PATA HQ, TCEP, TAT, DASDA, for professor from the Christ University, and PATA Thailand Bangkok University student chapters, as well as all the instructor and also for the students, our lovely student as well, to the special event. Do you know what is the name of the event today, all the students? Okay, today the names of the event is the 50 years anniversary of the PATA Thailand chapters. Okay, very special event, and also we have panels discussion on the risk, threat, opportunity that is facing travel and tourism. Okay, in Thailand, and not only in Thailand but also in global as well. This is organized by the PATA Thailand Bangkok University student chapter. Today is the hybrid panel discussion will not be possible if we not get the involvement from many guest speakers today. This is including for the executive team, which is Kun Ben, Kun Supawan, Kun Chirudip, and Kun Imtes as well, and the professor from CRI, Kun Ashivara, and my adorable student Snow. Okay, she is a third-year student, and then I'm very grateful for your kind assistance and contributions to come to the event today. And as we all know that after COVID, has changed our tourist behaviors, like this is challenging and for the government for the tourism and for the hospitality sector to manage and functions under the difficulty circumstance. As a result of today, it's fascinating to hear from all the stakeholders, okay? And then to know how to properly manage risks, threat, so that we may recognize the possibility in travel and tourism that may lie within such a difference or the occurrence that happen. So it's an opportunity for all the participants, all my lovely students, to hear from the different points of view from the stakeholders, okay? And last but not least, I would like to say thank you to all the ITHM instructor, International Tourism and Hospitality instructor who come today, the coordinator, definitely the PATA Thailand Bangkok University student who helped to arrange this special event, and definitely all our honors guest speaker today for the panel discussion. I'm sure that we're going to be successful for the event today, and so thank you very much and enjoy the session. Thank you, Ka.
Thank you very much for your welcoming remarks. Next, let's invite Kun Ben Montgomery, Corporate Ambassador, Central Hotels and Resort Chairperson, PATA Thailand Chapter for her welcoming speech.
Good morning. I am so happy here with you. And on behalf of PATA Thailand chapter, I wish to tell you that we're here to offer our continued support. We are here, especially under my chairmanships, we want to bridge the generations. Anything that we, the industry, can help you, students, please do so. And we're gonna come and ask for your help too, because we don't know much nowadays. We rely on you. So today, please ask questions. Please challenge us, okay? It will be fun, and let's make it fun too. Don't stay doomed, because we're not gonna let you do that, okay? Enjoy the morning together. Sawadee ka.
Thank you so much, Kun Ben.
Now, welcome to the sections for the presentations by three of our guests. Firstly, with Kun Imtiaz Mukbil.
Next, with Kun Aishwarya Singh Raikwa. And
finally, with Kun Niwiwikai on risks, threats, and opportunity facing towards travel and tourism. So, everyone, please welcome Kun Imtiaz Mukbil on stage for his presentation.
Okay, Sawadee Krap. Good morning, boys and girls, distinguished guests today, and all the members of the faculty from Bangkok University. My name is Imtiaz Muqbil. I'm the executive editor of Travel Impact Newswire. For those of you who do not know me, I have been covering the Thai travel and tourism industry since 1981, which is probably more than some of you people before you were born, for many of you guys. When I first started covering travel and tourism here, Thailand was getting 3 million tourists. By 2019, we had received 40 million tourists. So I have seen the industry grow from literally nothing to 40 million tourists, and it's been a wonderful ride. And thanks to Kun Ben, I am sharing this information as part of history because this is the assignment she has given me on the Part of Thailand chapter. So thank you very much, Kun Ben, the Part of Thailand chapter, the Bangkok University, all the faculty, Achanemi, and thank you all for being here today. Now, is this being recorded? This is being recorded, right? Okay. If you're not recording this, please do so, because what I'm going to tell you is going to change your life. It's going to completely change the way you look at your future and probably give you some semblance of security. So please do record this, and I think you will enjoy some of the things that are going to come up today. Now, I am a journalist, and I don't know much, but I ask good questions. I ask really good questions, embarrassing questions. And that's my area of specialty. So what I'm going to be doing today is going to asking you questions, because I know a lot about the risks and threats, but I'm going to try and find out about how you feel about the risks and threats in the industry. Now, how many of you, first question, how many of you after you graduate want to work in the travel and tourism industry, find a job in the travel industry? Raise your hands. How many of you want to work in the travel and tourism industry? Get jobs in the travel and tourism industry? Yeah, not everybody wants to work in the travel and tourism industry. Don't feel shy. Please do raise your hands, because I'd like to hear from you guys. Most of you guys, right? Most of you people want to work in the travel and tourism industry. Maybe some people might go off and work for hospitals or insurance companies or something else. But I think most people would like to work in the travel industry. Now, how many of you have heard this word? Last in, first out. How many of you have heard this? No? Never heard this? Okay. I'll tell you what it means later. All right? This is very important in the context of what has just happened after COVID. This was, in many companies, this was the policy because many people got laid off as a result of COVID. So if you were the last to get the job in that company, you were the first to be laid off, right? So it was called last in and first out. And as we know, COVID was the worst crisis to hit travel and tourism for, I think, for maybe 5-6 decades. One of the worst. Have been others as well, but probably more slow-moving. But COVID was really fast, and it created a huge decline almost overnight. So this was when people started getting fired. This was the first, the philosophy, the policy that was used. If you were the last to be hired, you were the first to be fired. Now, let me take you back to the last century, okay? Because that's my area of expertise. Have you heard of this organization called the World Travel and Tourism Council? Anybody heard of it? World Travel and Tourism? No? Okay. This is the biggest group of multinational companies. It's a group of the CEOs of the big multinational corporations all around the world. So you will find the CEO of Marriott, of Hertz, of Avis, of Hilton, all members of this, the World Travel and Tourism Council. This was set up in 1990, and the agenda at that time was to promote the growth of tourism by focusing on jobs. Jobs. So they had policies like this, that jobs for the new millennium. So in 1996, just 4 years before the new century, they came out with very big publications that focused on the potential of travel and tourism to create jobs. This was the big mantra, that if you promote travel and tourism, if you promote investment, if you cut taxes, if you reduce visas, travel and tourism will grow, and it will create jobs for young people like yourself. Now, what they promised was in 1996, can everybody see that? Yep. In 1996, they predicted, this was 4 years before the new century, that the number of jobs would grow from 255 million to 385 million in 2006. That means in 10 years, it would grow by more than 100 million. This was the prediction at that time in 1996. Okay? Well, as we know, things don't turn out quite like that. What happened? In 1997, we had the Asian economic crisis, just 1 year later. And when the Asian economic crisis started, again, I think before many of you were born, so you had no idea what happened. It was just as bad as the COVID crisis, except it was an economic crisis. And during that crisis, also people lost their jobs. And we lost, in Thailand alone, we lost over 500,000 jobs. Over 500,000 jobs. The crisis started in 1997. It spread throughout Asia, and we lost here over 500,000 jobs. And there was a prediction after that that it would grow again after the crisis would abate, and the recovery would start, and they would create another 10 million new jobs. So jobs, 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 jobs. It was always a focus at that time on jobs for young people like yourself. So now my questions. After you graduate and get a job, how many of you would like to have a nice family, a nice home? Raise your hands, please. How many of you would like to have a nice family, good home? Ooh, everybody, wonderful. You understand that. Okay, good. Next question. How many of you have aging parents? How many of you have aging parents? Aging parents. Say in 10 years, they will be 60 years old, 70 years old. How many of you have aging parents? Not too many? Not too many? Many of you have aging? Okay, some of you. Okay. You will have aging parents because Thai society is aging, and there will be more old people in society. Next question. How many of you will, if you have to take care of your parents and have a nice family and a nice home, how many of you agree that you need a steady income? How many of you agree that you will need a steady income if you want to take care of your aging parents and have a nice family and a nice home, right? Next question. How many of you would agree that if you don't have a steady job, you cannot have a steady income? Agreed? If you don't have a steady job, you cannot have a steady income. How many of you agree with that? Not too many? Oh. How are you going to get an income if you don't have a job? That's a job. No, really, I mean, if you don't have a job, how are you going to have an income? Agree with this? Yeah? Okay. Last question on this one. How many of you believe that jobs in the travel and tourism industry today are safe and secure? How many of you agree that jobs in the travel and tourism industry are safe and secure? Turn around, look at this, Ben. Two hands. Okay? So not too many people agree that jobs in the travel and tourism, now this is a very important question, okay? Because it really holds the key to what I'm going to ask you. Kun Ben knows that I like doing surveys. And so this is a survey right here, and the young people don't believe that job security, we have job security in the industry, okay? Now that's very good, thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Next. So, on to the topic, risks and threats facing the travel and tourism industry. I'm going to give you a list of major threats facing the travel and tourism industry today as to why you don't have much job security. Like I said, in 1997, when we had the crisis, nobody expected that to happen, but it happened. Before 97, everybody said, wow, Asian tigers, nothing is going to happen. We're all booming, everything is going to be fine, Asian century, bingo. 97, crash, straight down the tubes. So, some more questions. How many of you agree that this is going to be a potential threat to your future? Okay? All right, good. Almost everybody. Next. How many of you think that this is going to be a potential threat to your future and jobs? Ben, you got to look at this. Yeah? Okay. Next. How many of you think this is going to be a threat to your future? Ooh, more hands. Okay. How many of you think this is going to be a threat to your future? Very good. I hope this is being recorded. I really want these hands to be shown up. Okay? Next question. How many of you think this is going to be a threat to your future? Okay, good. Now we have risks and threats all up in front. All right, that takes care of that. Next, let's prioritize these risks. Okay, we have got the list over there. Now let's prioritize them. All right. How many of you think that climate change is the most important threat that you face? The most important? 4, 5, 6. Okay. How many of you think economic turmoil is the most important threat that you face? Nobody? 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. How many of you think geopolitical political turmoil, wars, conflicts, thinks this is a threat? Thank you. This is what I was expecting to hear. How many of you think this is going to be a problem? Local political turmoil. Okay, not bad. Okay, and finally, how many of you think this is going to be a problem to your future? That's interesting, because it looks as if geopolitical turmoil is right on top, followed by local political turmoil, then economic crisis. Climate change is way down the ladder. And this is pretty much at the bottom, all right? So we've got the list of risks and threats, and now we've got a pretty good idea as to how you feel about which is the most important risk and threat to your job security. So, next question. You agree with that if you have a low level of risk and threat, you have a better chance of getting a good job and a steady income and being able to take care of your families, right? If you have a steady job which is safe and secure, you can have the income. You agree with that, right? Everybody agree with that? Okay, good. So, next. Who is responsible, who do you think is responsible for making sure that when you graduate from here, you will have a safe and steady and secure job? Right? Question. And I'm going to present you with the choice, and you can decide which one you think is more important. All right? Who is responsible for making sure that you will have a safe, steady, secure job when you leave this so that your 4 years of study here is not wasted? Right? Who do you think is going to do it? Is it going to be your parents? Parents? How many think parents are going to be the one? No? Okay. The government? The government? How many think the government is going to be has to be responsible? 3 people, all right? Politicians? Politicians? Okay. Your professors? No? Okay. Military, police, the security people? No? Tourism leaders? Business leaders? Business leaders. Oh, a few hands up went up for the business leaders. Okay, so you do feel that business leaders hold. This is basically food for thought for you all, right? Because the bottom line is that you really have to create your own opportunity. If you just see, since the COVID crisis began to end last year, January, February, we began to see signs that it was tapering off. Since that time, we have had a war in Europe. We have had, just last month, we had a banking collapse. One month before that, we had a huge earthquake in Turkey, 46,000 people killed. In Thailand here, we have had the problem with PM 2.5. There's all kinds of issues all around the world, which are literally creating problems. And I mentioned them earlier on, and all of you agreed that to some degree, they are a threat to your jobs. Because all those problems that I mentioned, geopolitical risks, economic risks, political issues, acts of God, climate change, they're all a threat to travel and tourism. If they're a threat to travel and tourism, they're a threat to your jobs. If they're a threat to your jobs, you're not going to be able to take care of your families, nor will you be able to take care of aging parents. So, really, the opportunity, I have given you the risks and threats. You yourself have analyzed how important you feel this is to your future and your life. And really, the opportunity is for you to create that and find ways of reducing those risks. Because if you don't reduce those risks, you will be I promise you, if you're the last in, you will be the first out. And that's not going to be very good for you and your future under any circumstances. So those 4 years that you're going to be spending here, maybe 6 years, maybe more, you really need to make sure that the job you get at the end of this is firm, stable, and secure. The travel and tourism industry works very well when there is peace and stability. In Thailand, we have been hit by just about every crisis known to mankind, except snowstorms and avalanche. Okay? In 1980s, when I started covering, we got hit by the AIDS crisis. Many of you have no idea what that was all about, but it would have wiped out the entire young people because it was spreading so fast. That was even before COVID. Since then, we have had military coups, economic crisis, political problems, haze, a tsunami, regional economic collapse, climate change issues. But we still get 40 million tourists. So we in Thailand do many things good. Our tourism industry is wonderful. We always come back, but we need stability. Because believe me, when the next crisis comes, you don't want to lose your job. And that will only happen if we prevent all these crises. Most of them, all 80% of those crises are man-made. Bad decisions that have created these problems. So your responsibility as young people moving forward into the future is to make sure that you reduce the level of risks and threats so that you can guarantee and ensure the safety and security of your own future and your livelihood. So that's all I have to say today, and I'll be more than happy to take a few questions later on. And once more, thank you, Kun Ben, and to Chan Amy, and to all of you for coming here today. I hope that just get you thinking, and hopefully it will lead to a good panel discussion and some stimulating, thought-provoking solutions later on. Kap, thank you very much indeed, Kap.
Thank you so much. It was such an amazing presentation and also such amazing questions as well. So next, please welcome Kun Aishwarya Singh Raikwa for her presentation via Zoom.
Hello, Namaskar. Good morning from India. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here. I would like to greet all the distinguished fellow present there, fellow speakers, students, Bangkok University International, and students, Christ University. Today I'll be sharing with you my research experience. Right now I'm in third year of my PhD, and I work on a novel theme, that is blue economy, and my main focus is on maritime tourism. So let's get started. The picture here is self-explainable. What COVID-19 has done to our oceans. This is the face mask pollution. First picture shows. The second picture needs no introduction. This shows how humanity has treated oceans. And first of all, the question is, why do we need to conserve our ocean? Is there any problem? The answer is a clear yes. A research by UNESCO states by 2050, plastics will likely overweigh all the fish in the sea. Isn't it daunting? Oceans are our planet's life support systems. They cover approximately 72% of our planet's surface. That makes, and we humans have treated oceans as a limitless source of resource extraction, and the result is our oceans are suffering. So is there any need for a model, an alternative economic model? Here comes the concept of blue economy. The concept was introduced in year 1994 by Professor Gunter Pauli. Later on in 2010, he came up with his first book on blue economy, 110 years, 100 innovations, and 100 million jobs. In 2012, uh, it was the first time when blue economy was discussed in United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, also known as Rio Plus 20 or Earth Summit. This concept was mainly talking about greening concept, how we can turn into green economy. And there came the small island developing states, also known as SIDS. Since then, these small island developing states and least developed countries have championed the concept of blue economy. But the question comes here uh, is the only these small island developing states and least developed countries are related with blue economy or economic activities? Answer is no. Because every country, even the landlocked ones, need to contribute towards the preservation of our oceans. How World Bank defines blue economy is a typical definition is sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, for improved livelihoods and jobs, and for ocean ecosystem health. So there are several sectors in blue economy, and my major focus is tourism and climate change. As the previous speaker, thank you Imtiaz sir for setting the context. The climate change is the biggest challenge of our century, and we have to find a solution together for this daunting issue. How climate change impacts tourism industry is, please, previous slide. Maritime transport is a conventional sector. Almost 80% of the international goods are traded via sea. Fisheries is a conventional sector. Renewable energy is a new one. Waste management that we need to look after. Climate change is an important factor in blue economy, and maritime tourism, it employs almost 41 million visitors per year visit small island developing states and least developed countries. That's a huge number. So, and after oil and natural gas that comes in maritime transport, the coastal and maritime tourism is the biggest contributor to the GDPs of several these island economies, and it's the second contributor to blue economy. Yes, next slide. Why I started this research? Uh, 3 years back, there was I came across an article which said there is a island group in Pacific Ocean which is about to get submerged in water. The Kiribati group of 33 islands is losing 3.7 millimeter a year according to National Tidal Center of Australia. And this thing shook me from within. I started looking for the literature, but yes, because it's very new concept, and research related to maritime tourism in blue economy is very rare. You can hardly find anything available on the internet and in other sources. So it's been 2 years now. I'm working on this concept in context of India, but I see oceans as shared development spaces. So I want to contribute in this. Next slide, please. What are the threats? Climate change is the, yes, biggest challenge. Territorial conflicts in the seas, because exclusive economic zones of several countries, they become a place where all this conflict starts, because defining borders in oceans is difficult. Terrorism is a threat, geostrategic hustle in the small island developing states is a major challenge, piracy and maritime security. Geostrategic hustle and is basically we are converting our these small islands, they already have short of land resources. But and yeah, because of climate change, they are losing their lands every year. Some of the countries they totally depend on tourism for their livelihoods. Their survival is dependent on maritime tourism. But because of climate change, sea level rise, they are losing their lands. And when some other powers start making military bases in these remote islands, when they start converting those islands as their bases, using it for any other purposes, then the loss is only to the host community who were, and yes, when this geostrategic hustle increases, travel and tourism cannot survive in that particular place. So this is the biggest threat that we have to deal with. Next slide, please. These are several activities that blue economy encompasses. They are in relating to sustainable development goals. Almost all of the SDGs are related to blue economy, but I correlate strongly SDG 13, that is climate action, and SDG 14, that is life below water, to blue economy. With a comprehensive blue economy development approach, we can actually create an inclusive and improved lives for all the people who are related to the oceans, directly or indirectly. The blue economy takes action against illegal fishing, tackles the marine litter and oceans pollution, creates jobs, reduces poverty, ends hunger, protects coastal communities from the impacts of climate change, and conserves marine life and oceans. Next slide. How India is working. Where does blue economy plays important in India's perspective? India has advantage of geography. We lie in the transitional maritime position in the Indian Ocean that actually comes in the international highways for trade, for international trade. We have a very strong growing economy. The enhanced geopolitical stature of India is an advantage, its diplomatic and strategic profile, and the resources, both natural and human assets, which country has. Next slide. I want to quote a 18th century saying of Mr. Alfred Thayer Mahan. He was a maritime strategist. He said, whoever controls the Indian Ocean will dominate Asia. This ocean will be the key to seven seas in the 21st century. The destiny of the world will be decided on its waters. I say again, destiny of the world will be decided on its waters. The Indo-Pacific theater has been converted into a geopolitical run. There is a run between the countries to have a stronghold in this oceanic region. But what is the need of current times is oceans can only be used as a shared development spaces, not as the battlegrounds. And the industries which depends on oceans, which are directly impacted by these, are the shipping industry, the travel and tourism industry, because Asia Pacific region as a whole depends on considerate amount to its maritime resources and maritime tourism activities. The next slide. Why am I emphasizing on turning blue? Because there is no green without blue. We talk about greening of our economies, every country. It's there is no green without blue. We all want to achieve sustainable development goals. The G20 summit is going on right now in India. India is the host for this summit. And in all the working group meetings, I see all the ministries, line ministries, the international delegates, United Nations talks about achieving sustainable development goals. And with blue economy, we can actually contribute to SDG 13 and 14. The oceans, the importance it's very evident in the United Nations decision of declaring this decade as an ocean decade. United Nations has declared this for ocean decade for ocean science for sustainable development. So there are series of activities, several countries who were working on blue economy, on development of their sectors are hustling, and the countries where there was no such concept, they are drafting their policy. India is one such country. We have drafted the blue economy policy. Government is working with private and other players to form a blue economy policy to turn a blue economy nation by 2030. Next slide, please. And in the end, I would like you all to live with is, what would you like to be remembered for? This is the question I ask myself daily. This was the saying by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. That what would you like to be remembered for? Would you like to add value to something existing, or be the change agent in whatever field you are? And believe me, the tourism industry is one such industry where you can make your mark if you are determined. Thank you very much. All the very best for the upcoming sessions to all the students. You can connect with me on the following. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kon Ashwarya, for the insightful presentations. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
So, let's welcome Kun Niwiwikai for her presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Neoe Kai, and I'm a third-year student in International Tourism and Hospitality Management, and also a Vice President of Thailand, Bangkok University Student Chapter as well. Today, I'm going to present about our project called Protect Marine Conservation Environment, or we call as PMCE. PMCE is the first project of our Partner Student Chapter, and our strong aim is to raise awareness of conserving the ocean's environment, of course, and protecting marine life. We're focusing on the SDG goal of number 14, and it's a good, I believe that a good environment can be a good attraction for tourists as well. If the environment is getting dirty, then it will be the problem for the tourists and also the local, and even more for marine lives and animals in the environment, whether whales, fish, turtle, or including birds as well. And it will impact our local people in terms of doing business in the area as well. So let's talk about the problem. These are the problems. So every year, the ocean ends up with million tons of plastic appear from random places, and we couldn't know that. But by who? By human action, of course. And yes, whether water pollution or plastic pollutions, the bottle, the net wrapping around the necks of animal, and yes, of course, we found that more than 8 kilograms of plastic appear in the belly of whales. And that's sad because these animals should be conserved for our environment, and they are not doing any wrong to be dead by our human actions, I believe. And yes, so this problem can be the threat for coastal tourism as well, and it can be a big impact to both local and tourists. So the environment would not be a place that we're gonna visit, and that place gonna be the place that nobody care and full of plastic, so it's gonna be a mess for us. So we could change by take our small step, and we could work together and help the environment by raising awareness, supporting, getting supporting from people. And yes, of course, we will try to help each other by collecting garbage from the first step, and then we'll see what is going on in our future. So we have 2 social media platforms to contact with our audience. We regularly post our support and acknowledge people about conserving the ocean's life, ocean environment, and activities which related to our PMCE project as well. So these are examples what we have done so far. We collaborated and we joined the event, Partai event, SDG goals, and so on, about recycle, about the events, and also the poster that we are trying to persuade people about conserving environment and the importance of the ocean's lives. Not only ocean's life, this is our planet, so that's our responsibility. Not visiting the places with irresponsibility by human action, and then you're just throwing trash away, and that will be the impact for other generation later on. So the next, I'll talk about our activities that we have done so far. This was our first webinar, which co-organized with Partai Youth, and we've got special guest speakers from other places, and we have learned a lot about ocean conservation. That's the guidance for us to continue running our PMCE project, and it is also a good idea that we can expand our organization to be bigger and bigger. Now we are starting with 20 or 25 people, so I hope in the future our organization will be bigger and then get more supporting from outside organization and collaborating, running our PMCE project and expanding to other projects as well. We are in process of planning, yes. And this was the activity that Partai Thailand Bangkok University Students Chapter collaborating with Bangkok University Student International, and we visited to our Udom community and Banglamun community, and we helped local people cleaning the beach. And you will see in the video there how long the garbage been there, and we tried to pull it out, but they couldn't come out because nobody cares about that garbage, and it's been a long time, so they were really hard to pouring out. So that's a problem because nobody care about that environment. So even local tourists, but very few local people working on it. They are trying to save marine life. They are trying to protect this environment in the community. Even government, they do even have less government support. So that is hard to control by themselves, of course. But we are the one who trying to collaborating with them, and we would like to help them as we are living in the same planet. Yes.
If 64 with PATA students joined hands with Department of Marine and Coastal Resources DMCR, altogether they have made an amazing job on protecting the marine environment from land-based activities. In this beautiful town of Sriracha, Chonburi. We collected more than 300 kilograms of plastic. We donated for 4 million marine lives to the community.
We
Together
have made it.
As you can see there, they were really hard to put it out. And yes, of course, it will be the impact for them. And also for the marine life as well as this community, they are doing research and also conserving about crabs' life, shrimp lives as well. So they do have crabs banks and shrimp banks. Yes. So let's move on to our future plans. What are they? The first one, we are trying to focus in our inside organization, which is Bangkok University students. We're going to have monthly workshop with them and also raising awareness to them by recycle things and then also acknowledge them at the same time. And we are trying to promote our PATA student chapter, of course. And the next one, we're trying to continue our PMC project, but we will expand our SDG goal to be number 6, 14, and also number 11 from only number 14 as we are doing right now. So we will try to expanding the places to Koh Lan, Koh Samet, and also Chao Phraya River, but we might need support from outside organization to cooperate with. So, and we are trying to find which organization that we could work with about these saving environment things. And the next one, we will move from life below water to on land. So we will have planting trees. On the goals of 13 and 15, we are still in the progress of having the plan. So yes, we will try to help, reduce carbon dioxide and then produce oxygen to the environment as our goals. And the next one will be social media platform that we are going to launch. So the main important thingly, we've planned to do podcast. The first EP will launch in August as well. It is about acknowledging people, and young generation should know the importance of our planet. And of course, yeah, we're gonna have a Q&A section at the same time, and we'll promote via our social media platform. And the next one is very interesting. We will have our own organization shirt and then tote bag. Tote bag is the most important thing because we will reduce using plastic bag. So we will support them to use fabric bag as a daily uses. And that would be our giveaway gift to our audience who are joining our activities online, podcast, Instagram Q&A, and yes, of course, we would like to have more members to do our PMC project and in next project in the future as well. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Kun Niwawekai. So once again, let us all welcome to our special guest, Kun Ben Montgomery, Dr. Supawan Thirarat, Kun Chirodeep Chakraborty, Kun Imtiaz Mukbil, and Kun Niwawekai on stage for the panel discussion.
So these sessions will be provide more insights of the guests and their opinions since we have already arrived at the panel discussions. So, well, we will be asking questions related to their fields and also Q&A from the audience as well. Shall we start with the very first question, Maurice?
Sure. So the first question will be directed to Kun Supawan. Well, you've been. So like, you've been in this industry you've been in this industry of like tourism and hotel industry for so long, and we can agree that COVID had bring lots of disadvantages to this hotel and tourism industry. So our question is, in the post-COVID era, what do you think will be the biggest challenges facing the travel and tourism industry, and how can they be overcome?
Okay, allow me to be the representative of what we call MICE industry or business event, which is part of the tourist industry also. A few previous speaker already mentioned about the sustainabilities, about the global warming. I think nowadays we cannot deny that the world is changing because of the global warming and also climate change. So sustainabilities would be a very challenges to our industry, especially tourists, because tourism industry, we are using the natural resources, as an asset for attracting the tourists to a certain area, to a certain city, certain destination, and also countries, for example, Thailand. And when we're talking about sustainabilities, it's not only care for the planet or care for the communities. It's a holistic issue of socials, of environment, and also the economic. And Thailand, our Prime Minister has been to the COP26 and announced to the world already that by the year 2050, our country will have to be carbon neutral. Okay, so when we focus on the business event, nowadays when my agency is Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau. We are working under Prime Minister Office and dedicated for the MICE event, which is covering meetings, conventions, and exhibition, and also part of the mega event. And nowadays, when we're trying to attract the international event to Thailand, or even the domestic event to different area, the first questions coming up is, can you show us a list of the facilities or hotels that embrace the sustainability policies, So as a corporate citizen, they want to be involved, to support the societies and also the environment issue. And nowadays, the carbon emission also is part of the critical point. Secondly, is about urbanization. And this is the cause of our crisis nowadays, especially for the hospitalities, that we are lack of human resources. Why? Because of when we have a pandemic of COVID, all of the staff has been, back to their hometown. And because of the urbanizations, the city, people living in the big city, and the rural communities, turn to be moving to the big city. That's why most of our staff in the hotels, business, and also tourists, they still enjoy to work in their hometown. And they don't want to get back to the capital like Bangkok or the major city, which cost of living is very high. This is still, it's not going to be a long crisis for the lack of human resources, we believe. But as part of urbanization, the change of behavior of the consumer will be changes, especially for the human resources and staff. Thirdly, that I would like to mention, the challenge would be EDI strategy, which is stand for equalities, diversity, inclusivity. You know, nowadays we have to talking about tourism for all. We cannot miss anyone behind or left anyone behind, especially in the business event. When you create an event or the country hosting the event, we have to be aware of this diversity. It's not only races or women, aging, handicap, disabilities. It's about everything that people should be equal, and the destination of hosting the event should think about how they can be ready to serve everyone and put in mind that, you know, what they are needed and wanted. And the last one that I would mention would be, because everyone know about digital disruption already, so I pass this. What I would like to mention is about value creation. We already embrace the technologies and work at home, study at home. Online is one of the options that we are doing right now. And it seems to be the hybrid event, you know, online together with physical will be go on. So if you want to increase the tourist number or even the MICE traveler number, how can we attract them to go out of their house or of their country? Meaning that the event that going to participated should be more meaningful, meaning that it should be more than experiences, you know, it's in depth of experiences. The event organizer or the planner have to think more about what they want, the consumer behavior, and how storytelling of each event, you know, can attract the participants to come out of their country to join and participate in our countries. And most of the millennium and new generation now would like to focus on communities and wisdom, local wisdom engagement. This is also the core activities that countries like Thailand are based for it. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
For the next questions, I would like to ask to Kun Ben especially, because like since you're working in the hotel industry, you must be dealing a lot with the staff and management teams. So the question here is like, how can the travel and tourism industry address labor shortage, both in terms of attracting new talent and retaining experienced employees?
You know, you asked the wrong person. You need to ask Eurodeep.
It would be a pleasure if you could answer, both of you. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I tell you later what my job is all about. I'm the dot connector. So the one that really dealing with the operation crisis is Eurodeep, that he can share with you more. Can I throw the question to you? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. For the opportunity to be, it's great to be here. Thanks for showing interest and coming. And we might be a little boring. I'm under 40, so I'll make sense of what we speak. The thing is, the most important opportunity is technology and the things which are created now. So if you see 20 years back, the risk and threat for the tourism industry were a lot different. Okay, we didn't have sustainable places, we didn't have enough hotels, we didn't have enough infrastructure to actually take people there. Number of flights were less. I mean, the whole tourism was really small. Like Kunam Tyas also said that, like in 80s it was 3 million, in 90s it was like 10 million or so, and now it's 40 million, right? So the opportunities have significantly grown. And if you ask me, 10 years down the line, there'll be 60 million people coming to Thailand. It cannot be less, cannot be. I don't foresee that the opportunities of tourism will go lower than what it is right now, because the human population is increasing, the disposable income, and Thailand is a very, very beautiful country. People are resilient, it's warm, welcoming, diverse, as Kunsu said as well. So I personally don't think in the next 20 years there's any threat as such. Yes, threats are, yes, sustainable tourism is a threat. If you ask me, and I'll come back to the labor shortage as well. What we need to really ask ourselves is, we're still using plastic as we go, right? In the meetings that we are in, talking about sustainability. So if we really want to make a difference, we have to start from within, like our family, ourselves, our habits of not using plastic as a whole. Maybe carry a lunchbox, carry a tote bag, not buy plastic, and it'll automatically be eradicated by itself. Coming back to the opportunities for the labor shortage in the industry, I think so by 2040, actually me and Kunben were in the same panel discussion about 2 months back, and by 2020, every year we'll have a shortage of 10,000 professionals in Thailand. In Thailand I'm talking about, 10,000 professionals till 2040. That is about 200,000 people in 20 years. And it'll keep on increasing. So there'll be no lack of jobs. What has made a difference in the Thai hospitality industry, or probably the overall hospitality industry in the world, is that there are much more avenues which are there. So now hospitality includes AR, augmented reality. You can work for companies which do augmentation of this particular room. You're sitting here, we are being broadcasted, as Aishwarya is listening to us, people around the world are listening to us. This was not usual. So these are hybrid models which are being created. If you know technology, you can work, and I hate to say that, but people like us, the older generation, we don't know this technology. And probably will not be sustainable to understand this technology as well. So if you grow yourself in AR, AI, there are companies which are being built around blockchain technology. So blockchain, what is blockchain technology? There is a software that we are using. How many of you know GDS? GDS? Do you know GDS? Okay. So GDS is a software which we use to actually connect and do the reservations online. So GDS is kind of a patented technology which has been used for last 30, 40 years. Earlier we used to use like registers or so. Now blockchain technology is coming over to overtake the GDS technology and the faults of GDS technology, because we need channel managers. So the direct connect with the hotel, with the customer, is happening at each and every level. And so much so that blockchain has increased by 500% in hospitality in the last 5 years. So by the time you graduate, by the time you get into into jobs in hospitality, it'll be at total different level. So nurture yourself, study something which is more towards what we can get to in next 10 years, and your jobs are safe. Believe me, our jobs are in trouble. Like, you might not see a sales and marketing guy 10 years down the line because you don't need him, right? But you need a AR person, you need a technology person, you need a blockchain person, because that will be the future. Did I answer?
Yeah. Thank you for your answer. It might helpful to students who are, because we are wanting to involve in this industry. Your question is your answer is quite helpful. Thank you.
Then can I add on?
Yeah, sure.
What I think personally, especially I got 2 kids of my own, 15 and 20. So I think go back to yourself. You make yourself wanted. So the jobs, the industry is going to evolve. AI going to come in, and and our people going to live longer because of technology. So the jobs that exist, we might still keep it for 20, 30 years. But you guys have to create a job that you would like to have. Be interested. And that is the best way to create steady income. Doesn't mean one job. You might have 3 jobs. You might be your own boss. With lots of platform right now, or you create your own platform. So do something that you really, really like. I think that's will stay long. Yeah.
Thank you very much again.
So moving on to the third question. The third question would be directed to Kun Intias. So we all agree that the world population is aging rapidly, and so the question is, how can the travel and tourism industry adapt to cater to the needs and preferences of older travelers?
I think I'm the oldest person in this room, actually, so I'm actually very, very well equipped to handle that question. Actually, that's a very good question, and thank you very much for asking that. A very intelligent question, too. My wife and I, I'm 67 years old, by the way. I have 4 grandchildren, and my wife and I like to travel around Thailand a lot these days. And one of the things that we do whenever we go traveling around Thailand is we obviously need to find hotels that can handle people who got knee problems, like my wife. She has a knee problem. She's also on medication, so she has other issues. So lots more issues like this that are emerging. But when we travel around Thailand now, we are really shocked to see the poor facilities for old people. Wheelchair access in some places does not exist. You do not have ramps. If you go into the bathrooms, you cannot see which is the shampoo because it's so small, and you need your glasses to go to have a bath to see which is the shampoo and which is the soap and which is the dye. Everything these days, even in many places, the hot water is automated. You have to press buttons. In my days, you just turned it from left to right, it was okay. Now you have to press buttons to find out, and we can't understand all this shit. It's too much technology. You go to some places and there is absolutely, even steps, for example, is simply not possible. Sign language does not exist for visually impaired. Do it yourself. Try and look around. We do this all the time. There is huge differences between good places, like good hotels, which have the human resources to take care of these, in other places that are not. If you look at the museums in Thailand, wonderful museums in many parts of the world, in many parts of Thailand, very nicely equipped, good ramps, but other places, very good museums, poor facilities, no wheelchair ramps. Even worse are the toilets, which old people need. Worst of all. So if you're looking at aging societies, this is one area I would suggest you should all get into. You cannot lose this if you become a specialist in taking care of senior citizens, because this is going to be a major requirement in future. Doing that is, to me, much more important than cleaning up the plastic. You can spend 3 hours on the beach and take 300 kilograms, but if you spend 3 hours on the beach taking away 300 kilograms, outside in the ocean, somebody has put 600 kilograms more in that same time. So it's an ongoing problem. It's not gonna get solved. But if you want to attract senior citizens, old people, this is going to become a very, very specialist art. Old people also, they travel with their families. When we go out, my children and my grandchildren, we always travel together. The grandchildren want to go and play in the swimming pool. They want to go to the video game arcade. They want to go and play table tennis. My wife and I want to do something else. Everybody has a different need, but for 2 people, 6 people all go. So that's much more income. All these things are going to become a big issue, not just within Thailand, but all around Asia as societies grow. So as you go forward and look for safe, stable jobs. You become niche market, specialist operators, and this is one area, believe me, that you will always, always have a job.
Thank you so much. And also, like, I'm from Myanmar, and my dad just turned 67 last year. And also, he also have like poor knee, so he just go to and from Bangkok to Myanmar, so it's really relatable. Yeah, thank you so much.
And then let me share that you can add the innovation in, since you mentioned about this. One of our PATA member, he came out with this platform. The challenges come from online bookings. And you don't know how to make a booking. I mean, disability or elderly people, right? So he created the app that can help to walk you through the rooms or accommodation or tour that you need. And then, but the booking will go to the hotel website. So it's like win-win. But exactly like that, right? For us, we go in Agoda, Booking.com or our brand.com, the hotel website easy, but not with elderly people or disability people. Yeah, so a huge market. But somehow, with hotel, Kun Imtiaz and Kun Shirodip might answer with me, we now have many categories. And that's answer the hotel's needs, because we cannot afford the ratio of one guest, one staff anymore. Not every property can do that. So we create brands. So premium brand, you can still have butler service and so on, down to the economy one, right? That you can only 150 rooms, you use 3 staff. The rest, we use AI, self-check-in and everything. Even you want to turn on the music, we can do it with the app, you know. So if you, as a new generation, would like to enter our industry, I'm not talking about hotel, I'm talking about complete visitor economy. If you love working with people, you know, you're gonna be a golden person to grab, because we want people that love to do the job. Yeah, and you enjoy yourself, you earn a good living, because our industry is proof we earn a lot compared with others, and we enjoy it too. Compared with nurse and doctor, they meet with sick people. For us, very easy. They already dream that they want to be happy before they even go out. So your job is just to make them happier, you know? So, join us.
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Thank you so much.
Also, for these questions, we would like to hear different perspective on this question as well. But like, the question here is like, with sustainable travel and ecotourism becoming increasingly popular, how can the industry balance the economic benefits of tourism with the need to preserve natural resources and minimize environmental impact?
Sustainable
Okay.
tourism, right?
Yes.
You're talking about sustainable.
SDG goals.
sustainable,
It's like, the question is like, how can the industry balance the economic benefit of tourism with the need to preserve natural resources and minimize environmental impact?
So, what is sustainable tourism? Let's just
Yes.
probably spend a minute there. Sustainable tourism is everything to do with solar panels, saving energy, reducing plastic, reducing your footprint on the earth that you're actually running your business in, right? I would assume so. So from a sustainable tourism perspective, we have come a long, long way. And we have to go a long way ahead as well. So miles before we actually take rest. So from the perspective of sustainable tourism, the hotels, and I think so Kun Ben and Kun Su will agree with it, that the hotels are doing a lot in terms of reducing their footprint. This can be a part of like international organizations which are part of Paris Declaration or various other sustainable declarations which have happened in the past, where we are together actually reducing the carbon footprint, and we have to note and report that in the to a particular panel, so that we keep ourselves more sustainable year after year after year. So we have targets. Most of the hotels, you will agree, will have targets to actually reduce food wastage, reduce the consumption of artificial stuff, reduce plastic wastage. We are doing disposable in a more sustainable way as well. So we think so we are taking baby steps to there as tourism industry. But then it also depends upon the guest to choose sustainable tourism. And if you ask me, in the last 7-8 years, sustainable tourism has really grown a lot. People are more conscious about not using plastic. People are more conscious about eating organic. People are more conscious about going to a particular location and not creating mess out of it. I mean, keeping it as it is. And a lot of tourism industries, I'll take an example of the Philippines tourism. I'll not name the destination, but there was a very beautiful beach, and there was overcrowding happening. There was like a number of hotels opening in that particular beach, and unfortunately the marine life got affected. And there's examples in Thailand as well. Again, I'll not name any, but the government took the positive step to close the beach down, and which actually gained more momentum, and it helped the marine life grow back. We have to do that. We have to step back and say that, okay, is it really helping the environment grow? If not, then sustainable tourism should stop people from going to places and creating a mess, because we need these areas, these hotels, these tourism spots for hundreds of years, for the next generations to come.
Thank you for your answers.
Yeah, what I can add from Sheila. Yes, yeah, go ahead. For the sustainable tourism, what I can add on Shira is he already mentioned about economic impact, okay, and environmental impact. What I would like to add is more on social impact, okay. Nowadays in the tourism industry, besides the tourists, the new generation thinking about environmental in the certain area that they are travel to, they also think about how can they create a social impact to the destinations. For example, into deep of the communities, social communities, learning wisdom, I mentioned earlier already, or using the product of the local that they are travel to. At the same time, comparing to the business event or MICE event, when we're thinking about the sustainable event practice, we are also thinking about how we can bring welfare, to the communities that the event, being held in a certain area, and more importantly, it's just matched with the behavior and intention, of the traveler nowadays. So when we're talking about sustainable growth on tourism, have you heard about carbon neutral on tourism? Right now, we have a lot of research and the government policies, especially from the TAT and also Ministry of Tourism. They announced that they want to create more tourism routing, that create carbon neutral or carbon net zero. So they're more focused on the communities and the activities that traveler or tourists can do, like no carbon dioxide creating, doing the biking, jogging, walking, trekking. This is an example of the activities, for the carbon neutral activities. And we can also do the carbon calculations, like this event that you all organize. at the end of the event, if you have, we have the calculation of carbon reduction and carbon emissions. At the end of the event, you can also do calculate, like comparing to how many plants you can grow, for a certain event. But everyone has to help, putting in the data so that the calculation would work. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So shall we move on to the next question? Oh yeah, sure.
I think just to follow up both what Kun Chirodeep as well as Kun Supawan said, if you take this definition of the word sustainability, you will find that when you use the UN Sustainable Development Goals, everybody's heard of UN Sustainable Development Goals? Yes? Yes? Everybody's heard of that? SDGs? Yeah? Okay. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals don't just refer to the natural environment. They don't just refer to forests and trees and oceans and wildlife. They cover every aspect of life, from poverty alleviation to gender equality, to peace, to corruption, everything. And if the beauty of being in the travel and tourism industry is that tourism impacts on every one of those 17 development goals. And that's the beauty of being in this industry. We as an industry are the only industry in the world that meets all the 17 development goals. And this is something that I have been arguing since 1987 Visit Thailand year, long before sustainability came into the issue. Because this is what His Majesty King Rama the Ninth the Great, the development king, talked about development long before sustainable development became a goal. And unfortunately, we in Thailand lost sight of that. We became 99% marketing, 1% management. And that became a huge problem for us. But for the generation that is now coming in, we'll need to put that back into balance between the marketing of destinations with AI, with AR, with chatbots, with all the other issues, as well as with the management of the destinations. Not just with BCG, not just with diversity and inclusion, et cetera, but looking at it from all aspects, from peace building, poverty alleviation, gender equality. And you all are in a wonderful, wonderful industry, a great opportunity to actually make a better world based on applying 17 sustainable development goals right across the entire industry. So when you think of sustainability in future, don't just think in terms of oceans or trees or wildlife or heritage, but look at it from all aspects. And that's when tourism will become real fun and a real challenge intellectually as well as, I think, financially.
Yeah, in that case, I would like to add that we start with ourselves. And this is a good timing. Be an active citizen. Go vote. Yes, we only have, right? Go vote. Now we have chance to gear the direction. And it's very close to heart. Yeah, we are lucky.
So let's move on to the next question. So the next question would be to Kun Aishwarya. So the question that we have for you is like related with governments and stakeholders. So what roles can governments and other stakeholders play in supporting the sustainable tourism industry, both in terms of addressing challenges and unlocking new opportunities?
Yes. So I'll answer this question in two parts. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes. So, coming to the government agencies, they are the main governing bodies. So, all the actions related to policy making comes from the governments, and its effectiveness lies in the the implementation. So making just the policies will not actually work. Implementing it and the benefits should reach to the grassroots level, and effective monitoring is important. So, and nowadays, yes, with several feedback systems, citizens are becoming more aware. So governments are looking into the grassroots implementation of the policies. And yes, the very important part is creating partnership with the private entities, PPP model we talk about. Not only the government agencies, because travel and tourism industry is in India, particularly I'll say, is a unorganized service sector. That's why partnership with private entities, with the different industry stakeholders is very important. So not only the government efforts, but work in collaboration with the private entities, with the social enterprises. There are several initiatives, several NGOs. I'll say there are several entrepreneurs and new businesses coming up. I'll quote an example from Himalayas. There's a concept called rural tourism. The women's are leading these initiatives. There are there are several uh, companies coming up like this. So this can only be done with the partnership of government agencies and the private players. That's all from my side.
May I add to Aishwarya, as me also represent the government of Thailand. Um, Actually, tourism and business event on my is no stranger to the crisis. We're facing a lot of crisis so many times, and as in government, what we should do is we should create awareness, of the challenges, of the opportunities, and also not only create awareness, we have to educate destination operator professionals, both private and public sectors, and put it into practice. More importantly, if we want to create the standardization, for the destination to the facilities and also destination that are attracting. Thailand is one of the top-notch, especially top destination of the world. So how can we set our standards, for expectation of our tourist arrival? So mainly standardization and also professional of the services. And you all now working in the tourism industry, you have so much opportunities to grow. And as Ben mentioned earlier that we are in need of the new generation to come and to lead our industry, because the new traveler, especially the new generation, that they are free to travel anytime and they have different ideas. We, our generations, X, Y, and me, and I am baby boomer, we are in need of the new generation to come up and help. And there's so many opportunities that you can do remote area, or you can create your own platform. So let's join us more and invite your friends to work in this industry.
Thank you so much.
I would like to add just one point to it. Actually, I've worked in various countries across, in Dubai, Singapore, now in Thailand, worked in India as well. So I would like to commend and like give respect or probably honor what Thailand has done, which no other Southeast Asian country, or probably for that matter, South Asian countries as well has done. The government organization, the semi-government organizations, you talk about DASTA, PATA, TCEP, TICA, TAT, all of these guys. You guys are doing extremely good. Extremely good. In the last 10, 15 years, why Thailand has grown, I think so a lot goes to your guys' effort. I have seen Singapore tourism. I mean, they're struggling with funds. They might have funds, but they don't have the people to do it. They don't have organizations to do it. So I think so it's all the more important to understand here that if you are a part of any of these organizations, you get an opportunity which none of the other countries are giving to the citizens or the students or the people working in the organizations which are directly or indirectly related to tourism. So you should take this opportunity as a school where Thailand has created this opportunity for a very wide audience, which is practically impossible for even countries like India with huge populations or China with huge populations. It's a great, great opportunity for you. And I think so you can take it back to different countries wherever you work. Maybe you get opportunities to work in Europe tomorrow or US tomorrow because the tourism industry is going. And you can be pioneers in government private partnerships of sustainability. So it's a great platform to learn actually.
Thank you again for the great answers. And before we move on to the last questions, we would like to ask the audience, because like we're gonna have like Q&A sessions for now, and like we want every student to ask these amazing guest speakers that you want to know everything about the tourism related topics. Yeah. Is there anyone like who would like to ask some questions in the audience?
Anything, right? Doesn't have to be tourism.
Yes, anything.
My question is, what advice would you give to the young people who wish to pursue a career in the travel and tourism business?
May I, as a young generation? Okay, I would say you are the one who create opportunity in this industry. And I believe our young generation, we are the leader in this industry. So, I mean, we experience everything as much as you can. And we create our own opportunity. So we're gonna seek every opportunity. There are plenty of opportunity in tourism industry, including hospitality industry, as we are studying in tourism and hospitality management. So I believe we are the one who created opportunity, and I would suggest you to join any organization that you would like to, and you think that it would fit to you, and experience it. If you like it, you continue doing that. If you don't, you can change another experience. And then you see the success in the future in this industry. Thank you.
Start with PATA student chapter. Yeah, go. Have a look first. Yes, that's the best way.
I have an advice for everyone. Probably if you can note down 2 points about changing industries as such. You don't need to work in banquets, you don't need to work in sales or any of the departments in what is right now, because these are not the departments which will be really alluring in the past, in the next 15 years. What you need to do is learn more about blockchain, learn more about AI, learn more about connectivity, how tourism industry is changing. Note these points down, look at it after a year, people will be talking more about it. And you don't need to work in banquets, you don't need to work in any of the departments right now. If it is boring, if you think that it's not worth it, you're right, it is not as of now, because there'll be somebody else doing the job who doesn't have ability or probably the drive to learn more. And if you want to learn more and do well for yourself, go learn something which is not existing right now. And that'll be the future. So.
For me, I think you have to set yourself with open mindset and do more experience during your internship on the company or organization that you are wishing to work for or industry that you work for. And in case, if you want to be in the business event or what we call MICE event, which we have a lot of attracting international and domestic event coming up, we have the booth outside. Okay, we have the student chapter, and also we are doing the boot camp quite often, especially doing the liaison. Like last APEC at the Queen Sirikit, we also having the volunteer from the university that we train to work for. Nowadays, not only Bangkok, but in other city destination also. So more than welcome to explain to you more about business event at the booth. TSEP. Thank you.
You wanted advice on for what to do? Is that right? Did I get that right? Okay. If you see in the medical sector, the general practitioner, the doctor who treats coughs and colds and flus, doesn't make much money. The real people who make money are the specialists, the cancer specialists, the gynecologists, the eye doctors, the bone doctors. So use the same philosophy in travel and tourism, because it is becoming increasingly a very specialized field. You're finding people looking for niche markets, health and wellness, cuisine, MICE, adventure travel, senior citizens travel, female-friendly travel, Muslim-friendly travel, Buddhist circuits, religious spiritual travel. These are becoming very specialist areas, and that's where people need experts in that particular area. Not just somebody who can make the booking for you, but people who can actually give you intelligent, guided tours of specialist areas. So these in actual become not just tours, but study trips. And that's where I think the real opportunity will arise, because it is something that no app will be able to give you, that human touch. No ChatGPT, no augmented reality, no virtual reality. People will need to go and travel to those places to see for themselves, to eat the food for themselves, to go to the museums for themselves, to experience each and every one, and get personal guidance when they need it. So become a specialist. You can get your general degree in this area, but once you move beyond that, become a specialist, just like the doctors.
So true, so true. But with the hospitality or tourism, it's career path that you heard all the time, right? You not enter and then stuck in one job. But what difference right now is that career path, the period of time is much shorter than when I, Shiro, Tim, and all of us here, we stuck in one position. In the past, if you stay less than 2 years, you're a job hopper. Now 6 months, please stay. So, right? So it's, if you're so good, you can be a GM in 5 years. That's gonna be, already workable, yeah. So.
Is
Thank
there
you so
any
much.
advice from the
Kon Ashwarya for the students.
Yes, adding to all the answers, I'd say research and development R&D is also a career path you can think of. The consultancy, research and analysis for every policy making, for every industry to grow, research is needed and travel is no exception. The tourism industry needs researchers because because we are the informers. What what is the end result of any policy, what is actually at the ground level. So we need people in R&D as well. So it's you that have to decide. But yes, R&D is also a good career option. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And also, the section is about to end. So, like, before we end this section, can we have some final? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, you may ask.
Thank you. So I have a question for Ms. Ashwaya. How can small island developing states leverage the blue economy for sustainable development and economic growth?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. Uh, from the beginning, I have been working uh, very closely, reading, seeing how small island developing states have emerged, how they are dealing with the changing, environments surrounding them. Uh, so that's why there are challenges, what we face inland, the challenges in the oceans are different. They are far, far extreme. The major impacts of climate change are changing weather patterns, extreme weather events, and these are the people, these are the places where these impacts are uh, really huge. We sitting in, like, I'm talking from mainland India, we cannot even imagine people losing their land every year. They are so, and yes, as we grow, the development efforts of the governments, even every development approach, I'm talking about blue economy, is a double-sided sword, I would say. If we don't, because these small and developing states, they all have their carrying capacity. There is a limit how many tourists can visit the island in a, in a season year, I'd say. If we exceed that limit, then there are going to be serious repercussions. And the sufferers are the local communities, hosts. So the small island developing states and coastal least developed countries, I'll say, are the are at the forefront of blue economy advocacy. That's why we need a model that constitutes development efforts as well as tackles the major threat, that is climate change, that is not degrading the environment, not degrading their ecosystem that surrounds these coastal states. So states have to, and also there is a major lack of, the infrastructure. Yes, I'll say, I'll quote an example from Indian island, Lakshadweep, where last year uh, government tried to, in the name of blue economy development, uh, they tried to develop the island, the extended theme parks. They wanted to develop uh, roads, create infrastructure in the island, but the concept, the idea was not very much welcomed by the locals because because of the space constraint, because of the limited resources island has. So economic development does not only leads to the betterment. Sometimes we need to consider the carrying capacity of a place where we cannot apply every model to every place, and working with these vulnerable areas such as island nations is very critical. So the economies which are developed, they need to support. Funding is a very crucial element for the small island developing states. They are mostly living under poverty. They are least developed countries. They need support from developed countries, developed nations. They need support from international organizations. And yes, we need to create awareness about the problems of these small island developing states. Then only we can think of the solutions which these states face, and then we can move forward. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions over there?
Thank you for the messages today. It's really insightful and inspiring. My question is, what are the opportunities coming up for the young people in tourism and hospitality industry, especially for the startups and entrepreneurships who are interested in entrepreneurships?
I had actually been looking after some opportunities because everybody is speaking about opportunities, and when our distinguished guest talks about threats and risks and all, our topic started with risk and opportunity and threats analysis, but I think so we have been talking about opportunity more. So just going through some of the topics which I saw as opportunities. I think so. I spoke about healthy organic food as such. Every hotel is looking out for health food, organic food, vegan. It'll be the future, for sure. Because if you even talk about sustainability, our carbon emissions are going down because of sustainable organic food being provided to the hospitality industry. Why is it expensive? Because there's not enough organic food available. Even if we want to become vegan, if we want to produce more organic food, we can't because not everybody is doing it. So that's from an entrepreneur perspective, that's one. From like AI, augmented reality, Internet of Things. Now, I think so it's the best opportunity, best time to be in hospitality because every particular department is getting reorganized, being online and digital, okay? So even banquets, for example, and Kunsu will agree with me that 10 years back, we didn't have something like augmented reality wherein you can stay in front of your computer and see how the hotel looks like, how the room looks like, how different setup looks like, right? Classroom setup. And you can imagine your event sitting on where you are, actually. And that is what is changing. And I think so in the future, I guess so, this will be more entrepreneur. You can come up with softwares, you can come up with opportunities to be created for hotel industry, where you can work with any of the organizations, how to promote MICE tourism through these channels. Like if you create an app, then I'm sure some of the organizations will be happy to support you. So that is the opportunity, and that's not only like doing some favor to the government or the hotels. You can earn millions out of it. Like Civent, one of the companies which was started off somewhere in US and became the biggest MICE organization, just got sold for $4 billion. It's a service company. They don't have a product. It's a service company, $4 billion. That's a lot of money. And they've grown sustainably through organically through last 10 years, if I'm not wrong. So there is no lack of opportunity. And I'm sure Civent, this guy Reggie Agarwal, he would have never thought about it, that it can. And very frankly, they're still not solving problems. You cannot book an event online. You cannot book more than 10 rooms online. They're still not solving the problem. If you are able to solve that problem, you can become the next entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Okay. For the new startup in the tourism and hospitalities industry, you can see that nowadays there is a growing on MSME, so micro SME. Okay. Besides being the digitalized company or agencies yourself or creating the platform, you can look into the ecosystem of the tourism. Be part of the lifestyle of the tourists that are coming. You can be joining not what we call social enterprise. The social enterprise is using the product and services to help and support the corporates and traveler to our countries. So what part of the industry or what part of the sectors we would like to focus would be, human needs, food, health and wellness, facilities. If you coming from your hometown, you can use the local products or communities in your hometown to create awareness, for the tourism to come. And more importantly, because of the new trend of consumer perspective and behavior, they're more concerned on the social impact as come back to the local again and communities again and environmental again. So this is the focus that you probably will be, one of the key point that if you want to do your own business.
To me, what you just named it, Kun Imtiaz earlier, those niche, and if as a new business person coming into, you use platform and you guys are good, right? On the way here, I listened to Kun Sutichai Yun podcast. The guy said that he generate over $1 million revenue in one day, per day on TikTok, right? And another lady, his student, because he's also sharing his expertise, like making a course. One of his students, 70 years old, was a businessman but failed. And then so he used TikTok as a platform, sharing his failure. What you should not do, like me. And he got over 100,000 people follow him. And he got, the star? The money, what do you call it? That, right? Yeah, the token, right? TikTok token. And he earned a living. So I think you guys know more on the platform and how to use it. But then what that interests you, especially for us, there are so many products that linked to human. That's already tourism industry, direct or indirect anyway. It's a visitor economy. It's the people industry that we are doing with platforms that entrepreneur like a new younger generation can do better.
I think you guys are getting really good value for money today. There are two areas that I think you should consider. One is a startup company that specializes in weddings and honeymoons in different parts of the world. This is a very rapidly growing area, a very high specialist area, good income, but very, very demanding. But if you do it well and you become a specialist in that area, weddings and honeymoons is very, very good. The other one is crimes against tourists, safety and security of tourists. This is an area that nobody is actually specializing in, but it covers everything from muggings and robberies and fraud and commission scams in destinations to credit card fraud to privacy invasions. Huge area of opportunity here because crimes against tourists across the whole chain are growing very, very substantially. If the number of tourists grow, the number of crimes against tourists also grow. It's an area that not many people focus on, but it certainly needs a lot of expertise. You won't get bookings, obviously, but you will get a lot of people who will pay a lot of good money for advice because each destination has different problems. Each sector has different problems. A hotel security and crime issue is separate from an airline, and that is separate from an airport, and that is separate from a convention center. Every area has got a different area, but this is something that will need to be focused on, particularly if you can, going back to the earlier issue about research and development, if you can cut down to what are some of the key areas that affect people. Again, it goes back to prevention, making sure that you can give people the ability to be safe and secure in your own destination, not just in your own hotel, not just in your own destination, but right across the entire value chain of the booking process. So two areas, weddings and honeymoons, the other one is safety and security.
No, in the back.
Hello.
Oh,
I have a question too. I would like to know the impact of the fishing over the marine conservation and how can we promote the sustainable fishing?
Yes, since it's related to our project, we have very small voice. So we are trying to start from small step first. We couldn't just dive under the water and then collecting garbages, but firstly, we need to persuade people to understand about the importance of ocean's environment first. And then the second, we need to present our action by having activities such as collecting garbage as we are doing right now. And next, we will expand to cleaning the beach again. And also from the help of outside organizations, as I said, we can do more if we have them helping us. Not only, we just students, so we can have unique idea and then we are adaptable with this conserving ocean things. But we cannot do it by ourselves. We need your help. So please join PATA. And yes, it's a good opportunity and it's a good start for all of us to learn together about conserving ocean's environments. Thank you.
Thank you.
What from hotel industry I would like to add, just like what you said, Chirotip can confirm this message for me. We are so conscious to know what our customer wants. So we listen. Social listening is, we have a huge department in each brand to listen to what you like or what you don't like, right? So hotel investment conference. In the past, they were showing like how you generate revenue, how you build a bigger building and so on, interior design. No, now they're talking about sustainability. They're talking about how your property contribute to ocean, the green, and so on.
because we want to be a preferred partner with our B2B as well as B2C. So being active citizens, start from yourself and then join the organization and make it louder, because the business people listen to your voice. We listen to the mass, correct? Yes. So that's the best way to do. Start from yourself, yep, and join the organization like PATA!
Any more questions? Yeah, I think from the back. Yeah.
Hi, quick question for you guys. I was wondering, what are some characteristics and skills that you're looking for students that are interested in working in the tourist industry?
Skills.
Yeah, skills and characteristics.
So I'm a sales guy. I've been doing sales for 17 years. What I look out for is open attitude and communication skills, very important in my industry. And what I look out for is a learning attitude. I've seen, so first I became a director when I was age 29 or so. But I see people becoming directors at the age of like 25, 23, just after like doing a couple of years after the hotel school. It's not about the timeline actually, it's about the attitude where you want to really learn or not. And I think so most of us are looking out for that learning attitude, and you might get a better job tomorrow. But what does it mean to you? Is it adding on like a designation, or you know what, this person is known as the director of sales now. He was earlier sales executive 2 years ago. But what did you learn about it? Probably not. A lot of them miss it. But it's more, if your attitude is right, you will get each and every job that you apply for with that learning attitude.
I think you need a lot of patience and a very cool temper. Because every day you're dealing with all kinds of people making all kinds of demands, and all of them have got very, very low thresholds of tolerance. And they pay good money, and they want you to bloody well deliver what the hotel claims to have promised. And they want it now, and they don't want any excuses. So you need a lot of patience and a lot of very cool temper.
And for the business event industry, or what you call event industry, you know, the organizer been well prepared for the event, maybe for a long time, like a year, more than a year, or even a few months. But when an event comes, it's only a shorter period, a certain period, maybe a week or even a few days. So the staff that they are looking for, or we are looking for, not only be open-minded, but has to be human touch, because we are working with human, and more responsibilities. Because the event, you know, during the event, you cannot miss anything. So punctual, energetic, and also creative if you want to work in our industry. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Sorry, this question is for Cone Snow. I'm a second-year student here, and I found out that the first-year students and third-year students, everyone got the opportunity to be a part of Potter. But we, second-year students, we didn't get any chance to be a part of Potter. And some of us really would love to join Potter. So I would like to know, how can we get that chance to be a part of Potter? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I do have to apologize about that. As we recruited our new members, it is because of the COVID-19. We didn't have much opportunity to provide the chance to them. So we did pronounce to just only first year student, and second year student been lost. So sorry about that. But if you are interested, we are always welcome you guys. So please feel free to contact us, contact the booth, and also you can contact via Instagram or Facebook fan page called PATA Thailand Bangkok University Student Chapter as well. So we are welcoming you guys. Yes.
Thank you.
Any more? No.
So I have the questions for this one. What do you think about the layoff the official employee at the Apple companies or the other technology company like Microsoft nowadays, as you can see that at the beginning of 2023, right? So how about in your opinion, the tourism and hotel industry will happen like that? Because I am talking about like accessing human resources in this industry. Because I want to ask this question that even as a student in the school, there has always been competitions with each other. So that I want to ask these questions.
No, we need people. We need a lot people. Yeah. Right now we lack of people. We need more. Yeah. If you walk, we can employ everybody here, if you want to work. Seriously. Because, okay, COVID right now over, and revenge travel. Everybody wants to travel, right? But then it might slow down a little bit because now you have to pay the Visa card, claim Amex that you spend. But then, once everything's back on track, people will start travel again, and it will stay. In the past, I remember myself 15 years ago when the internet hit, and we say, hey, see, people are gonna travel less. They're gonna look in the internet and they can see the video. They're not gonna go, and we're gonna lose our job. No, it's create more tempting. You want to see more. So if friends go there, I want to go there too, and that one too, that they never seen. So we don't have that kind of issue. But with these AI and technologies will help us to do the job that people don't want to do, or we better use people to contact, the guest contact. But other things that technology can use, then we use the AI, we use the technology, a robot, you're going to see it. But it's not going to replace people. You're going to still see people. Confirm me on that?
Absolutely, I think so. We are in, like I initially in the presentation as well, we talked about how we lack professional skilled people in the hospitality industry, and every year we'll be short by 10,000 people in Thailand. I'm not talking about anywhere else. In Thailand, in the next 20 years, 200,000 people will be short. Okay, so don't worry about your jobs. You will definitely get to do something. How skilled you are is more important. And as far as the technology companies is concerned, how are they different from the tourism sector or the hospitality companies? During the pandemics, if you see, or the downturns of the economy, in 2002, 1998, COVID, 2020, we have always seen that curve going down due to the business. If the business goes down, of course there'll be a lot of issues within the economy. Why do you think Microsoft is laying off people? Because the business is not sustainable to hold so many people. Tourism needs people because it's growing, right? So the curve is upwards. Curve is not downwards for tourism. And there are times when the tourism curve is downwards as well, which was COVID. People lost jobs. A lot of people were laid off. Like we were praying to God that, oh, you know what, we shouldn't be one of them, okay? But now, if you ask me, we are short of people. Every hotel is short of people. Every tourism department is short of people. Every airlines is short of people because they don't get pilots enough to fly off. But there are not enough pilots. There are planes standing on the runways. It's impossible to get a pilot to work for them because now they're getting more paid, 1.5 times more than what they were getting paid. Not only the pilots, even the service staff down to the banquet level. They are getting more paid. I mean, the service charge, if you see right now, for some of my hotels, is crossing 90,000 baht a month. So, I mean, you shouldn't be worried about jobs, at least in the tourism industry in the near future. Yes, equip yourself to do something which is irreplaceable. Every job is replaceable, by the way, but still difficult to replace is technology, is knowledge, is commercial. And if you are in it, I don't think so you need to be worried about next 20 years.
So we're almost near the, oh yeah, sure.
I'll just add to that.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think that's a very good question. It relates to what I was talking about, which is job security in the industry. Remember I asked this question, how do you say, not one hand went up. Oh, sorry, two did, yours did, and one gentleman at the back. This whole hall, when I asked, what is the level of job security in the industry? Of the 100 people in this room, only 2 hands went up. So you have to analyze yourself, why are you don't think the industry gives you a secure job? My advice to you, yes, there's no doubt that it's a growth industry, but it's also very risky. There is, if you see the crisis that we have happened, and let's face it, there is an election coming up in Thailand. And many people say the election is not going to be very smooth. There are going to be a few problems. And if there are problems, you can be sure that tourism will get affected and people are going to get fired, for sure. Let's be realistic about this. So my advice to you, and particularly from what I can see now, is that you have the option of doing part-time jobs. You can do ad hoc jobs. Do a little bit of this, but keep a backup job ready in some other industry. So don't put all your eggs in this one basket until you can become a specialist in some area. It's still very, very risky, and I'm being very frank and honest with you, because believe me, when the next crisis hits, and the next crisis will hit, for sure. Anybody tells you that it's not going to happen, he's the biggest bullshitter of all time, because the next crisis is definitely going to hit. And when the next crisis hits, if you're the last to be hired, you will be the first to be fired. And I'm telling you this very, very frankly, because I want you all to go out there and get good jobs and take care of your family and take care of your aging parents. That's my interest in. So the best advice I'm going to, yes, take part-time jobs, take ad hoc jobs, do things until you can become a specialist, but have another job as well ready. I see today many people who are coming back and they work in restaurants at the same time. They work in hospitals. They work in, doing on call centers. So you are young enough to do 2 jobs. You're young, energetic, you have the time. Don't put all your eggs in the one basket until it is firm and safe and secure. That's my advice to you.
It was a really productive Q&A session, right? So I think it is almost the end of the panel discussion right here. Thank you very much for your answers, and also to the audience for your question as well. So I would like to invite you to go back to your seat, yeah, and we're gonna move on the next sessions.
Thank you all so much. But before we end this section, let's invite Vice President of International Affairs, Assistant Professor Dr. Somyut Watanakat Bonchai to deliver the token of appreciation to our special guest.
I would like to invite Kumbe Montgomery on stage.
Next, Dr. Supawan Pidara, please come up on stage to receive the token.
Now, I would like to invite Kunchirodip Chakraborty to come up on stage.
Next, I would like to invite Kun MTS Mukbil on stage.
For Kun Ashwarya Raikwa, we would like to say thank you to you for joining us this seminar.
Last but not least, I would like to invite Kun Niwawinga on stage to receive the
Now, I would like to invite all of the guests, Dean of Bangkok University International, as well as the Vice President of International Affairs on stage to take a photo. So, Kun Ashwarya. Can you open the camera?
also invite faculties and executives as well for the photo.
The student chapter.
I would like to invite all the student chapter of Bangkok University on stage to take pictures with our special guests.